I just want to tell people dreaming is okay because I think it helps you see some of the bigger picture things and desires that you may have. But I don't want people to wait on Oprah or the lottery
Yeah.
for them to come into a windfall for them to start living out what those dreams look like.
Welcome. This is For Better and Worth,
The podcast where we don't believe you have to sacrifice your relationship while you grow and build your net worth.
We are your hosts.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Ericka Young, and we're so glad you're joining us today.
All right, y'all, let's get into it. Hey, babe, how you doing this fine afternoon?
I'm doing good, and I hope you get my energy up today, because I feel like sometimes at the end of the day, I'm dragging, and although yeah, I know. Don't worry about what time it is, because I'm dragging a little bit.
I mean, it's.
I want to take a nap.
Yeah, it's late in the day.
Don't you want to take a nap sometimes in the afternoon?
Well, when I get off work, I'm usually a napper. It might be my nap time, but I'm good to go right now.
Good for you.
So how's everybody out there doing? But yeah, I'm glad to jump into the topic today. I hope people have been enjoying and vibing off of the things that we've talked about, because we've been a vibe.
we are a vibe, honey.
Yes, we are.
Yes. So yeah, we are going to talk about something interesting. I had a gentleman that we both know, actually, who mentioned a concept that couples can do to help them think outside the box. And I realized that we've done this before. So he calls it a lottery date.
Okay.
And I love that. I love and hate it, let's be honest, okay? Because ain't nobody winning the lottery. Let's just level set now.
Now, is this the, like my grandma used to play, dollar straight, dollar box lottery?
I have no idea.
That was small wins. Are we talking about?
No, we talking about some
megamillions.
We talking about some megamillions.
Okay.
We're not talking about
I need to know.
I don't know what you have to play to win the megamillions, so I'm unclear on that. But all I'm saying is we talking about big bucks.
I think it might be like a couple bucks per ticket or something like that.
I don't have any idea.
I don't know, but I don't play the lottery. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I have played the lottery when it's like $1 billion or so many hundreds of millions. I was like, you know what? Let me throw my $10 in here.
I remember when you did that one time. Yeah, I was like, all right, go get your ticket.
I do it once in a while, just
yeah, because
I'm sure that the church is not gonna turn that tide down.
Oh, but the first place you go is you gonna give the church some money. Okay, so let's talk about it.
Look,
okay,
hey, that's what I'm gonna do. If I win the Mega Millions, it's 500 million. I'm gonna go to my local church and be like, look, I got this, $23 million. After taxes and all of that.
We tithing after taxes on the Mega Millions. We not tithing before taxes. Let's be clear, because I was like, that math ain't mathing. But anywho, so the point of the lottery day is to figure out what you would do, and this is so interesting. You walked right into it and said, "Okay, I'm gonna give the church da 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 da." But because of the amount, it made you shift already on which portion you would tithe on.
Calling me out, right?
I'm just saying. But
so if it was a $500 million Mega Millions, I'm supposed to give my 50 million.
Here's the thing. If you get $500 million,
right,
and you give $50 million,
that's still a tax write-off.
Okay, so he talking about the tax write-off. I'm talking about even after taxes, if you come home with $250 million.
That's still more than I started with.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. Okay,
yeah,
that's what I'm talking about. Okay.
With.
So the whole idea of this date is to discuss what you would do with the money.
Well, I don't even know if it's that. I think the principle behind it is to dream. Because I think people get caught up in the rat race and life, with family and kids and work, that I think they stop dreaming, when they have, debt or they're trying to make, ends meet. That dream is like out the window because people are living in reality. Mm-hmm. And so I think the purpose of this date in my estimation, would be for you to dream again and kind of dream build, because I've always felt like when you dream, that can translate into reality because you can put actionable steps behind those dreams to make those dreams a reality.
Yeah. And I think it would be interesting as a couple to find out what you each find to be the dream, because
Right.
they may not be the same. Like, and that's okay. Like, hopefully you can figure out how to help both each other to figure out your own individual dreams and how to go after them. But they may not be the same. And so about 15, was it 15? I think it was 15 years ago, one of your dreams was to go back and get your MBA. That was never a dream of mine, and it is not a dream of mine now. But I wanted to assist and make sure that I was there for you in that moment for you to accomplish that. And so
I think I had thought about that like right after we got married.
You did.
So it was like
and it
20,
was never
20
my
something years ago, and I
Have
was
I
like,
ever said I wanted to do that?
no, I think after you got your undergrad engineering degree, you were
I was
like,
like,
you know, I'm done with school.
Totally.
And so
I've done other things, but not go
yeah.
back to university.
But you know, I knew I wanted that as a goal, and then, you know, the opportunity presented itself where I had an employer that would pay for it. So I said, let me go do it. But all that aside, let me ask you, if, you know, you hit that 500 million, mega millions, what would you do?
So tithe first, yes.
Because we love the Lord.
Yes, because honestly, none of it would be present. I mean, he owns everything, right? So anyway, so yes, but I think I would like to see what needs my family has.
Okay.
And I'm talking outside of our 4
Yeah,
units.
you're talking about extended family, trying to meet them at their point of need, whatever that may be.
Or just be a blessing. They don't even have to be needy, if you will. Like, they just be a blessing. How can I be a blessing?
So here's a question, though. In being a blessing to them, would you just give them money? Or would you buy them houses? Or
Thank
would
you
buy
for
them
that.
cars? Or because I think there's a difference.
I would just want to buy the item. I don't want to hand no money over to you.
Okay.
And I don't want to put you in a dire strait where you can't afford the electric bill on the house if I choose to buy you a house.
Right.
I want
so
it
you
to
would
be
still buy something
commiserate with what they can do moving forward, because I don't want to keep I don't need anybody on no payroll. How about that? So that's
you go buy 5 houses, now you paying 5 mortgage,
No.
5 light bills,
No.
5 taxes.
I'm not trying to do that eternally. No.
Right, I got you. Okay.
And then I still want a vacation property. Like, I want a place where we can just go and hang out as a family.
Man,
like a big enough place.
We could ball out vacation property with that.
Right. I definitely want that, and I want to continue to pay the light bill on that. Okay. Like,
oh, well, you're committed to paying the light bill on that. Right.
Correct. And I think I could probably find some charities and all of that kind of stuff, but those are the few things that come to mind. One of the things that is on my heart is to start a foundation, like a scholarship fund.
Yeah.
And I would love to do that as well. So it would be funded, and then the proceeds or the interest, the returns that come off of that can make it go in perpetuity. And so I could see that. I feel like we're people who, at this point in life, we travel, we go where we want. I don't want a lot of little things here and there. It's not like I need to be iced out with diamonds. I don't need all that. I'm not.
You everything you've said right so far is like more practical things. It's meeting the needs of others. It's not focused on you. But I don't think that's how the average person thinks. If they win $500 million, they're like, look, I'm going to get a house. I'm going to get a car, clothes. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that.
I mean, I'm sure I would get me a new car. I'm sure that falls in it. But
that wasn't even where you started.
Sure.
And I think that is really commendable because, most people don't even tithe.
Yeah.
And so you said you're going to start there. And then you start thinking immediately about the needs of, your family or others. But I think that speaks to, your heart in general. And I think that in this dreaming process, in this dream date, while you think of yourself, you still do have to consider some of the needs that you're able to meet of others. But that takes a different mentality for people to get to, because with the scope of 500 million, people make different decisions.
Yeah.
And so I think it's tough to maintain a sense of reality when you're talking about that versus what you're really dealing with.
So okay. I have another question, but I'm gonna ask you this one first. What would you do with it?
I think I would do some of the same things that that you are talking about, but I mean, I like stuff too. So,
I think you would have a whole bunch of cars.
I was gonna say that after I've met some of those needs of others, I would certainly find me a property that is multi-acred, that has the potential to put, a pole barn on there, because I have a barn dominium over on there where I have my cars. And
Is this a home we live in, or is this a home we go kick it at?
no. We would have our house on the property, but I got a barn dominium that is like separate.
Gotcha.
I go over to the barn. I drive my ATV over to the barn dominium.
I think a beautiful modern home is really important to you, because you know what's interesting is I think that I want a house. If that were the case, I would want a beautiful home. I'm not thinking about land. I'm not thinking about the pole barn or anything like that. But you want a house. That's what you want.
I mean, I want a reasonable house, but I think
No. That's not true.
I think the pole barn.
What is a reasonable, baby? Come on, describe the house.
I mean, I could do, with that kind of money, I could do 5,000-6,000 square foot house. That's single story, that's laid out with, a basement that has all the amenities and things like that. We dreaming, so
yeah.
I could have a full gym and, a theater and, a bar.
Yeah.
I got vision.
And I think that's where I would absolutely have you lead, because there are things in the house that you care about that I don't. And I know if I leave it to you, not that I would leave it to you, but if I were to say, honey, I'm gonna let you, you just go ahead. Your vision is the vision for the house, because you got good taste. And I probably wouldn't, left to my own devices, I probably wouldn't spend as much as you would on the luxuries for a house like that.
Well, I think the good thing about this, like even us talking about it, I think it just helps you refocus on even your reality, whatever your reality is. You can still incorporate some of those dreams into your real life, and it doesn't take you winning $500 million to be able to do it.
So would you go back to work if you had $500 million?
I would honestly do some type of work.
Really?
Yeah. Would I go back to my present job? 500 million? I don't know.
Ask me the same question.
Well, you work for yourself right now.
Right. So
what would you go to work?
Hecky no. Deuces, and I'm out.
You'd be like, I quit.
I'd be like, you know what? But we would still do the podcast, right? Like this is our labor of love. We have a good time together.
Right. But, we might, take it on a tour and say, we hit the lottery, but it's the pole barn.
It's the hustle of work for me. Like there's a high chance that I would step away and be like, I'm done with this.
But see, I don't 100% agree. I think the hustle of this work, you will stop. Uh-huh. But I think you would embrace some other type of work. Because you've talked about like having multiple properties.
Yeah.
And at that point, you could go get whatever properties you want. So I could see you creating companies that do different things, and it's just a different type of work.
I actually think that I would do more writing.
See?
And I don't see that as the same type of work. I wouldn't be doing it for the money, for the next thing.
You'd be doing it as a passion.
Yeah, because there's books in my heart for sure that I really want to get out. And
but it would allow you to go down that passion project road, which is a different type of work, but it's still work. Mm-hmm. And just like I may not go back to my typical job right now, but I'm sure I would be doing something because I have passions for people to have financial knowledge and education. I might lean way more into this side of it and like start doing a lot more things in that arena. And I have a passion for cars, and I would try and find a way to lean more in.
Oh yeah,
into
you would
that
totally be
and-
doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so I think there's just you replacing different types of work. But I keep coming back to this same thing because it's one thing to sit and dream and think about what that type of money could allow you to do. But I really think you have to start taking steps to transition to do some of those things now. Some of these things we're talking about are hobbies, but you still have to find a way to incorporate those into your life today. And I think it's possible.
And I forgot one thing. You want a house? You want a really nice house? I want a boat. I have wanted now.
It's so funny.
I have wanted some type of water vehicle.
You say water vehicle. It could be a boat, a jet ski, a jet boat.
No. It needs to be where you can have dinner on the thing. Like you can sit down and you don't have to sleep on it. But maybe with that kind of money you sleep on it.
Like,
I mean, it could be a yacht. It could be a yacht with that kind of money. But here's the other thing. Okay. So we talk about 500 million. Let's take off 2 zeros. What if the jackpot is 5 million? How does that change what you would do with the money?
I don't know that it would change anything that I would do. I think I might just do it on a smaller scale. Instead of, you build a $10 million house, you build
you just put a number on it though. You just put a number. That's interesting. Okay.
I'm just saying, you would look, I watch $1 million listing and I see the houses in Cali and I'm like, I think you can't get a house out there for less than $10 million.
Yeah.
But it just changes, I think, what you would do. And that's where I'm trying to draw this connection between your dreams and reality.
Yeah.
Because you can still live in your current house on your current salary and make that your dream for now until you're equipped and in a position to make that next step, next, step up or that next leap.
Right.
So.
And I think what's interesting. No, let me ask this question. Would you quit your job if 2 zeros were removed and it was 5 million?
No.
Okay. So you would keep this job.
Yeah, I would keep my job.
So what's interesting, if you look at not celebrities or athletes or actresses, not people in the limelight, but normal people, and I say normal, but I'm thinking right now in particular of people like, say, Susie Orman I know Warren Buffett is on a whole nother stratosphere, but these people have stayed in their same home.
Right.
You would be really taken aback by the very simple, modest way in which certain people live. But
I think you can also tie life results to some of the decisions that they've made.
True.
Because other people who aren't nearly on that level financially have made different decisions that have put them in situations where they were stretching their income.
Sure.
Or, putting them under duress from a mortgage perspective or buying cars because they wanted to look good that they really couldn't afford to
the
ride
trappings.
around in. Yeah.
Having the trappings of wealth versus actually having wealth, very different things. And so I only bring that up because it makes me wonder if it's a good conversation for someone to have. Do you want this just because you actually have the money, or do you want it? Do you just want it?
Look, we all know that money doesn't change you. It only amplifies and makes you more of who you already are.
Yep.
And if you're somebody who has a spending habit, who's caught up in, luxury or luxury brands or has to have the latest this, like there are people who are already lined up to get the iPhone 16, because it just came out. When the iPhone 15, there's nothing wrong with it. But they have to have the latest and the greatest, and they want to, have. But they don't have, like I said with you, the heart to be a giver or think about, meeting needs of others. Because we've talked about how much do you really need or how much is enough.
Right.
I think it just makes that person more of who they are. Like, you have a heart to give now. And so the first thing you went to was like, well, I'm going to think about meeting the needs of, others because with $500 million, all the needs we have are met.
Yeah.
That goes without saying. So now
Sure.
you're like, okay, let me look beyond myself and focus on someone else.
And I feel like that would still be true if it were 5 million. But you said it well that if it were 5 million, it would just be on a smaller scale. And I still would I think we would still try and do some things for the people that we love and care about. I think
5 million that's nothing to sneeze at.
No.
So it's like, I say smaller scale in relation to 500 million.
Correct. Right. You can retire on that. Like, let's be clear. Like
5 million is still doing it big.
You wouldn't quit your job, but you could. You
Right.
probably could. I likely would shift some things in my pursuit and hustle of some stuff, even with that type of money, because I think we're in pursuit of something. And I think some of that changes when you come into a windfall. And I've had some clients who have come into, say, a life insurance proceeds because someone passed away. And it's so interesting how if you haven't thought about it, it might not go quite as far as you think it can because of all the things you're trying to do.
I'm a realist. And so I know, like, when you come into that sort of windfall, like there's taxes associated with it that takes it from, 5 million to, let's say, 3.5 million,
If that, 3
right,
million.
3 million. Okay, let's say 3 million. And now, you want to go buy a house and, depending upon what housing costs, that could be 5, 6, 7, 8, 900,000, $1 million for a house. Now a third of it is gone. And then you got 2 million left and, you want to go buy cars and this and that. I mean, it's already looking like,
with that kind of
1
money,
point some odd million.
Honestly, with that kind of money, the best thing to do is just invest it and call your
Live
retirement
off the interest.
Call your retirement complete.
Yes,
Yes. But I think
But people aren't thinking like that.
Exactly.
We live in a very materialistic society because it's not just, our pastor has been talking about this, it's not just what you do, but it's what you have. And that defines who you are. And there's so much more about life than just what you have and what you do. Those things shouldn't define who you are.
Yeah.
Because there's so many things that make, people who they are that have nothing to do with the career choice that they've made or with how much money they have.
Yeah. I think that you mentioned that it amplifies who you are. I also think that it's definitely the case of more money, more problems, more responsibilities, more issues, more people coming to you asking for stuff, things like that. And I think that could be also a different challenge, right? Maintaining your sanity.
There's more of an expectation that you would do.
Yeah. And for some, that's not, honestly, like if we chose to just invest a large sum of money, if we came into that 5 million and just invest all of it, people assume, oh, wow, you got it. I'm like, but hold on. It's tied up. Like I can't get to that until I'm ready to step away from working. And so like, they don't know that. They don't know us like that. Right. And so, and they also don't know that, like, if we're going to give a large sum and that kind of stuff. And so I think sometimes we can put ourselves in a bind when folks know too much. Well, about what's going on with us.
I think about like Malcolm Gladwell's book, David and Goliath.
I love it.
He talks about the inverse U curve. And in the inverse U curve, he talks about how people reach a point in life where they make too much money, which some people may agree, some people may disagree with his level of what he called it. But he says people reach a point when you make enough money where it becomes detrimental versus it being helpful.
And it's no longer satisfying or contributing to your happiness or giving you what you think you want in life. You can get everything you want and more money doesn't do anything for you.
Even think about it. Think about it like a family that went from, average household income of, let's say, $75,000 to a $5 million windfall. And their kids ask for something, it becomes harder to say no when you have that windfall. When if you were living off your $75,000 income, you would make different decisions.
Yeah.
You might defer what they're asking for. You might say not right now, but later. And so then are you creating, character in them to understand what delayed gratification looks like, or
Yeah.
what saying no right now means to the bigger picture, as a whole, as a family unit. And I think those are traits that children definitely need to learn in this process.
I think that's something adults need to learn
Absolutely.
in this process.
Absolutely.
Is delayed gratification, and that you don't need to necessarily have it all
Not
right
I
now.
deserve it because I work, I do this, I deserve it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just a justification that people utilize to do what they want to do.
I just had an aha moment.
Let's hear it.
That no matter what type of windfall. Okay, and here we're talking about dreaming. Let's be clear. We're talking about dreaming, but no matter what type of windfall, you still need a budget. You need to budget the big picture of the money. Like if you were to get hit the lotto, you need to look at the whole thing and don't just start spending because that's what happens. That's why these people go bankrupt. You need to look at the whole thing and say, what is it that I want to do? And can I do it all with this money? Before I spend a single penny, no matter what it is. You can have a windfall. People get bonuses. That's a windfall.
Yep.
People have tax returns. People have a larger increase in their income. And when something jumps to a new level, you need to make sure that you have a game plan so that you don't make assumptions about what you can do with it.
It's funny. You said, I think that's back towards the realm of reality. Bonuses, tax returns, stuff like that. Because I see how people act when they get bonuses and tax returns. It's like, we balling, we dining out, we doing this, we doing that. We going here, we going on vacation, Next thing you know, all of it's gone.
All of it's gone.
They haven't saved, they haven't done that. Or, people playing, I'm getting my tax return, I'm doing X, Y, Z, A, B, C. And they haven't planned, to save or invest or any of that. And so I could just imagine. If somebody had $5 million dropped on them, they like, oh, man, we just doing it all. We going everywhere. He's like, Mom, I'm going to Disneyland.
That's why, and I know we're not talking about athletes, but that's why when athletes come into the NFL or the NBA and they're getting all this money, somebody needs to help them.
Well, the leagues actually have programs in place
Sure.
that help them to understand some of that because you've got let's talk NFL. You got the Caleb Williams who got 20 some odd million, bonus. Then you got Mr. Irrelevant who probably got $5,000 bonus. So
he said Mr. Irrelevant. That's
the last. That's what they call him.
Are you serious?
Yeah, the last pick of the NFL draft, the very last
he is
pick.
called Mr. Irrelevant?
Yes, the 32nd pick of the 7th round.
Chris, I thought you made that up.
They call him Mr. Irrelevant.
I had no idea.
But you know what? You know who Mr. Irrelevant was, who is he's highly relevant now. Brock Purdy, who plays for the San Francisco 49ers, went to the Super Bowl.
Oh, wow.
And now he plays for the 49ers, got his payday.
Awesome.
He was actually Mr. Irrelevant.
Awesome. Okay. Well, there you go.
So there's still potential.
There's
still opportunity because, the boy is balling out now.
But a lot of times, even after their football career, they don't have no money.
Right.
They don't have enough. I can't tell you how many times we have heard those stories where people, mismanaged, miscalculated, and didn't have it. And so I think,
think about Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield and those people who made literally hundreds of millions of dollars in their careers doing what they did, who ultimately went broke because they had multiple houses, multiple cars. They had entourages of people that were leeching on to them and they were paying for everything. And when you're making hundreds of millions of dollars, you think, oh, this is going to last, forever. And then that day comes when you look back and people have stolen from you. You got 10 houses with mortgages and taxes. And if you don't have somebody managing that and keeping up with it, you can end up in a lot of trouble anyway.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's so interesting how it makes us think we can have the answer for somebody else and what they're supposed to do, but we have to bring it back to ourselves. Yeah. And who are we going to be no matter what the circumstance is? How are we going to continue to uphold our values and what's important to us and be ourselves no matter what outside circumstances change?
I think about how people will, pray for something and be like, Lord, give me this. And he hasn't given it to them. Because if he dropped that on them, they wouldn't know what to do with it.
Exactly.
And that's why I think about, like, even in this scenario, the biggest thing I want people to get is that sometimes you just got to take a moment to dream. And in that dreaming, it can really help shape what your actual reality looks like, because it's okay to dream,
Yeah.
but it helps you put life into perspective. And I just know we are really practical people. So even getting $500 million, we're still like super practical. Like, I'm not gonna go over the top, because we want to do other things to impact people in the world at a greater level. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I know we can be trusted with it.
Right. And I also
Some of you jokers,
now you know what be nice.
you're gonna be $100,000 chains. I'm iced out.
Does that actually exist? See, I don't even know this whole world of excess.
Yes.
I don't know none of that.
Yes.
I don't know that.
People buy 100. You see them rappers that have all them iced out chains?
That's wild.
$100,000.
I can't even fathom. That doesn't even comprehend.
Yeah, I would feel nervous walking around with a $150,000 iced out chain. Like, I'd be like, man, this is crazy.
Yeah.
This
So
somebody's house I'm wearing on my neck.
that's not okay.
Yeah.
That's why people get robbed. Listen, I don't want nothing. You don't need to want anything that I have. Okay.
Look, right.
Let's be clear. I don't have a whole lot that people want. You know what I'm saying? But
All I'm gonna say is don't run up on us.
yeah, what we not gonna do.
Don't run up on us.
What we're not gonna do is get run up on. Okay, that's not gonna happen.
Remember, we are from Detroit.
Hey, you gonna say I'm from Detroit?
Well, if they run up on us, we from Detroit.
That's right, babe. Thank you. I got some street cred now. Well, association street cred.
Look, before we get too far off the rails, I mean, how would you say, like, this is probably an unconventional topic for people, but what would you say is, out of this whole thing, what is to make it worth it?
Well, I think it's relevant, first of all, because when we were in debt and earlier on we had kids and Oprah was the big thing, and she would be like, you get a car, you get a car, you get a car. And everybody was so mesmerized by the fact that this woman has so much money.
Right.
She was so generous. And we would think about and talk about, like, what would we do if Oprah gave us blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? We didn't talk about like a lottery date, but that was our version.
Right.
And one of the things that came out of some of those conversations is, how do we make that real? Like, I just think that if there are parts of what you would desire if the money was unlimited, let's say, what can you do today to make that your reality? So one of the things that I said, and I have said this over and over again, and now I think this is me needing to be held accountable, is I really would love a foundation, and I need to figure out how to do it regardless of the money aspect.
You know what?
There are ways to make that happen. So I just think, like, what is it? Like, think about, what will help you grow to be the person who can do some of those things independent of the financial means. How can you make whatever your dream is come to pass?
You know what? We should put a date on that now. And put action behind creating a scholarship fund or foundation, because we believe in education, and that's where we want to see the next generations not suffer with student loan debt or things like that, but be able to go to college, with assistance, scholarships and stuff like that. So
that's important.
We should put a date on that. We should figure that out.
It keeps coming up, and so it's definitely a dream of mine, and I really feel like I would be missing something if I didn't do it. So, How can you make today's episode worth it?
I just want to tell people, dreaming is okay, because I think it helps you see some of the bigger picture things and desires that you may have. But I don't want people to wait on Oprah or the lottery for them to come into a windfall, for them to start living out what those dreams look like. And so I think to make it worth it, once you've dreamed, start to see how you can translate that into reality, because there has to be some good behaviors that you develop, some good skills, the way you look at things, the way you approach things. And so I really want people to take this as an opportunity to say, here's where we are. Here's these dreams. I love to dream. I'm a visionary. And I want people to do that, because then it forces you to say, you know what? how can we make some of these things reality?
Mm-hmm.
And it may flip the hustle switch, or you may start to look at things and move differently because, this life is short.
Yeah.
And so you better get busy, making what your reality really is going to be like today.
That's good. I think that's really good. And my hope is that if you have a lottery date or a dream date or whatever you want to call it, that it just sparks some conversation.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like it gives you a chance to smile about something instead of always talking about the budget or the debt or whatever. And so it's just outside the box a little bit, and hopefully it's fun.
Look, 500 million, I'm getting a Olds 442, I'm getting a Grand National.
I said it was cars. He back to dreaming about it.
I'm like, shoot, I'm getting an Audi, I'm getting a truck.
You're going to have a car for every single day of the week, aren't you?
Get a side-by-side. Then the dog, he could go out with me on the property.
He's in your dream?
I mean, just if I get the side-by-side with the property.
Wait
There's
a
lot
minute.
of things that have to happen before he can
But
get.
no. You mentioned the doggy in your dream, baby.
Well, it's a lot that has to happen before he can really
no. I don't care about all that. Before
he can really be part of it.
I don't really care about that. You mentioned the dog in your dream. That's progress.
Well, it was a nightmare for a second.
That's progress. Hush up. So, until next time.
We're out. Thank you for spending some of your time with us today.
We appreciate all of your support. So be sure to subscribe, rate, and review us wherever you listen to this podcast.
You can find us on Instagram at For Better and Worth.
And sign up to receive our free guide, The 7 Reasons Your Money Relationship Isn't Working with Your Partner, on ForBetterAndWorth.com.
Until next time, we're out of here.